Hello my fellow pilots, and welcome again to another episode of Star Citizen FM, episode 68. Star Citizen FM is the longest running fan show in the verse determined to bringing you up-to-date information on the game, the community, and anything else in the verse that might catch your fancy. Star Citizen FM is hosted by yours truly, Dr. Hawk, so join me as we go over some of the highlights of this past week. To start off, we're going to get some fluff out of the way with our first topic. Now, as some of you know, the M50 was released, and unfortunately, if you were not quick on the draw, you will be unable to get your very own M50. Now, how is this prevalent? You too, if you didn't get a M50 ship, can get your very own 2944 Murray Cup poster. You can find these in the Voyager Direct store, and you can purchase one for your very own hangar, so be sure to check it out and grab one if you missed on the draw on the M50. The other reason I'm bringing up these posters is that CIG released another poster, one that actually reveals something a little bit more juicier than an M50. For all Constellation owners out there, you too now will be able to get your very own variant of the Constellation. We have 4 different types of Constellations shown. We have the Taurus, the Andromeda, the Aquila, and the Phoenix. While the official specs have not yet been released, there already have been some rumors and theory crafting going around as to what each of the variants will do. So I'll cover each one of the supposed variants, and then we'll go over what the thoughts are on each individual ship. Starting off the new lineup, we have the Taurus. Now, given the fact that it looks fairly bare bones and similar to what we already have sitting in our hangars, it is very safe to assume, given some of the theory crafting going around with the community, that the Taurus will be a new version of the base model Constellation that you can get. Now, it's unsure yet if you'll be able to purchase the current Constellation pledge, or if the Taurus will replace that Constellation pledge, or if they're 2 different ships in their own. I could be wrong at the time of this recording, so feel free to point out any discrepancies that you guys note, but otherwise the Taurus does not look too amazing. The next ship that we have on the lineup is the Andromeda. Now, first thing I want to say is I don't actually know what that extension or boom is that's sticking out from the Andromeda. I don't know if this is just an aesthetic sort of wing that pops out during flight, or if it's an antenna, or if it's symmetrical or asymmetrical. Regardless of the little boon, one of the things noticed about this Andromeda is it is a little bit more meaty than the Taurus. This means it could be a meatier version of the Constellation, coming with additional weapons, packages, and other bonuses that are not associated with the Taurus. So if we're going to try to place this on a price scale, the Taurus could be your budget ship, the Andromeda could be the standard, and then our next 2 ships could be more exotic variants. Coming up next is the Aquila, also known as the Eagle. This ship could be fairly interesting, as given the fact that the weapon found on the top, our dual cannon, has switched to the bottom, and we now have some sort of sensor suite package installed. Also noticeable are the fact that the boom is now missing, and we don't actually know if we've upgraded this to a more logistics type ship, or potentially deep space operations hauler / scavenger. I would like to assume that the comm package or whatever that's installed on the top could be for extended runs and or exploration, and with no apparent view of the cargo bay, although it does look a little bit more expanded in this picture than the other 2, it could be some sort of hauler variant and or deep space ops. And finally, we have our very glowy, very expensive looking Phoenix. We have the top mounted weapon available for use. The comm package is not visible, but that does not mean it may not be installed. We could have a more compact version. Judging by the angle of the shot, I can't tell if the cargo bay is the same that is found in the Aquila, or if it's just a smaller version. But what is noticeable is the very glowy accents or installation parts that seem to be doing it. It could be paint, or it could be just photoreflective material. I have no idea, given that it's very hard to make this out. What to be said about this variant? This could be a be-all end-all ship or be-all end-all variant, very similar to the Super Hornet, except in this case on the RSI Constellation. Could have superior firepower, could have superior range, mobility, shields. None of that is to be certain until we know from the official ship doc when they release it. Now, taking these and all these look like some very juicy variants for anybody who does have a Constellation, I myself included. They very likely will have upgrade packages like they have for the other ships, so if you already have a Constellation, I'm pretty sure with a little bit of a buy-up, you too could upgrade to a Taurus, Andromeda, Aquila, Phoenix, either one or. And if you don't have a ship of your own, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to buy one. Gamescom is the rumor floating around right now, so be sure to keep your eyes out for when Gamescom comes, and be sure to pick up your very own Constellation variant. Speaking of new juicy toys, let's say one of you have been sitting out there wanting, screaming for your very own efficient control system due to Arena Commander giving you the most annoying experience possible with the mouse and keyboard. Have you been screaming for a joystick? Well, SATEC is hosting their very own competition where you yourself can win a SATEC setup for Star Citizen. All you have to do is take the enclosed M50 picture, color it in a racing pattern that you find would go across the finish line, and submit it to the forums. This was posted on August 7th, so 3 days have already elapsed, and at the time of this recording, you have until August 15th to submit your entries. There's already some very amazing entries visible, but if you have any Photoshop experience, or just any graphic experience in it in general, be sure to take these, try to dress them up, and see if you too can win your very own joystick to rock around in Arena Commander. Speaking of Arena Commander, for those of you who do not yet know, and I'm pretty sure it's hard to given that this spread like wildfire, Arena Commander multiplayer is now available to everyone. I repeat, this isn't even a joke. All 500,000 plus citizens can now play in Arena Commander. And for those of you who experienced the initial rush, the servers were not ready. You too can jump into Arena Commander and experience what the rest of us has been enjoying so far. Bear in mind that this is a pre-alpha. This isn't even an alpha, it's just a playtest. You're bound to run into lots of bugs, as the video below is already showing you. I and several others have found a way to escape the boundaries and go towards Broken Moon. But you too can come in, hone your skills, and practice for the persistent universe. If you need any help, be sure to let me know, and in the comments below I can try to answer any questions and or concerns that you guys have with Arena Commander, and I'm always willing to make more videos if you guys need help. Now, one potential thing that I do want to warn you about Arena Commander that I have seen a lot of people have issues with so far. Given that this is a space environment, the big issue and complaint that I'm seeing right now is that it feels like a big game of ramming. And this is partly true. You are flying a ship that has a massive thruster or thrusters on the back directing you in one direction. And the game kind of encourages you to keep pointing your ship towards the person you're trying to shoot. However, you also have to keep in mind that the game is also reminding the opponent that you're shooting that he should also keep his nose towards you and shoot. This will lead to a very bad outcome, and you will see lots of people ramming each other right now in Arena Commander. My one tip for you, if you have not yet fought people in multiplayer, as it is very different than Vandal Swarm, get used to your strafing. Remember, all you have to do to enable strafing is press your caps lock key or assigned button for your controlled method, which will put you into decoupled mode. Once you're in decoupled mode, on the keyboard you can press W, A, S, D, and Q and E to control your roll, left and right, forward and back, and then shift and control for up and down. Use this to your advantage to avoid all of the Greenhorn missiles that are man-piloted ships. No offense to anyone out there. If you're very adamant about avoiding player-manned missiles, then just be sure to jump on into Capture the Core. Capture the Core is now available to all players to play, and in essence is the very same thing as Capture the Flag as experienced in many other games before Star Citizen. You have two player bases on either end of the map. One is red, one is blue. Blue is your team. Red is the bad team. The objective is to fly through the massive mechanical ring, capture the red enemy core, and then bring it back to your core base. You cannot capture a core if your own core is missing. This is very similar to previous capture the flag methods. So be sure that your team has your core in control before you try to make a push for the enemy team's core. You'll need some proper team play and coordination to win the day, but with hard work and perseverance and possibly a fast 300i, you will be guaranteed to win, and this is probably a great mode for people who have a harder time engaging in dogfights and are maybe a little bit better with piloting than gunning. Be sure to check out Capture the Core. Unfortunately, I don't have any gameplay footage because for some odd reason I keep crashing each time I get into Capture the Core, but once I have that issue resolved, I will happily provide some gameplay footage for you guys. And there we go, my fellow pilots, another episode of Star Citizen FM happily in the archives. I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in, and if you're interested in following my work, you can do so by clicking the fuzzy little hawk on the lower left hand corner to subscribe. Be sure to leave any comments and feedback that you guys have. I read all of it and try to respond to each and every one of you. If you guys are interested in supporting Star Citizen FM, you can do so on patreon.com. It is an optional, and I'll keep repeating it, optional thing. And think of it kind of like a tip jar. Every little bit helps, and every little bit I can put towards more development and more Star Citizen FM stuff, like a green screen and a camera. If you'd like to follow me on other areas, you can find me on Twitter and even Facebook. And sometimes when I'm up for it, streaming sites such as Twitch TV. And yes, I have not been banned with their new procedures. I'd like to thank you all again for tuning in. This is Dr. Hawk signing off. You guys all take care and fly safe. Have fun in Arena Commander and fly fast with Capture the Core. Take care. I'm almost at timeout, so I might actually not make it to the moon. I wanted to go to the moon!
We're in the atmosphere.
Oh no, the time is not ending! The match is not ending! They thought they could contain me! Yep, I do. This is definitely a new one. They cannot stop the Hawk. Oh no!
Releasing control. We are assuming control.